We almost lost a legend on YouTube. A tragedy almost occurred, and we have been saved from it by the looks of things. You see, one of the best channels on this website, in my view, is the channel Wheat Waffles. We've had a lot of fun checking this guy's channel out and seeing what he's recently posted. It's basically, the format he goes for is like Khan Academy, if you know what that is, that old channel. I don't know if it's still running, so I'm calling it old, but back when I was in high school, I watched a lot of it. That would teach you math, and they would write on like the digital chalkboard, and there'd be a guy explaining how you do a certain type of math problem or whatever. It was very fun. Khan Academy was great. This guy basically does that, except explaining, using like math and teaching his made-up theorems as fact in order to explain how to attract women. He is simultaneously an incel culture channel and at least an attempt at a pickup artist channel as well. Now, he's not a huge channel. He's definitely had some decent success in the past, but he's not massive by any means, which has essentially meant that at a certain point, he basically gave up, because I guess he wasn't pulling the kind of numbers he was hoping to. About 4 months ago, he did a video called The Final Video on Wheat Waffles, for real this time. Turns out it wasn't for real this time, because he came back a month ago with a brand new video. So it seems like maybe he isn't gone forever. Maybe we've got Wheat Waffles back, our favorite math incel. He put out a video, most recently, called Hierarchy of Attraction. How your face rating affects your chances. Are you guys ready to find out whether you are attractive enough in the face to be able to attract women? Let's find out, folks. Let's tune in. What do we got here? Oh boy. I'd say I'm like in the 5 zone based on this chart. Maybe a 6. I guess I'd be like maybe a 6 if I'm lucky. 5 or a 6. Like, we'll say like a 5.2. What do you guys rate me? Be honest, okay? Don't let your bias and your enjoyment of my content get in the way. Does it account for facial hair because I'm 20 with a full beard? Well, however you look presently, I guess. Interesting. Let's continue. Also, I like how you can literally see the filter on this guy's photo. If you look close enough at it, you can see the blurring effect from the filter. Like, there are guys that look like this. So you could have just found a photo that didn't look so manipulated, I guess. I don't know, I just think it's funny that for his example of, like, an 8, which I guess is the maximum on his scale, like, the picture of an 8 doesn't look real. I don't know.
In this video, I'm going to be discussing the hierarchy of attraction, which will help you understand what the modern dating market looks like, and give you a rough idea of who you may likely end up with. I'll be making it real simple with a series of arrows, showing who goes with who based on their percentile of attractiveness or market value. Most attractive people at the top, least attractive at the bottom. And as an end result, we'll end up with something looking like this, where successful couples pair off either within or outside of their league, and others are left out because either nobody chose them or some other reason, like they wanted to stay single.
What? How? Wait, what? Like, where are we getting this data from? Are we just pulling the idea that 7s and 2s among women can't get relationships or choose not to, and that 6s and 3s among men don't get into relationships or choose not to? Like, what's the... I don't get it. Also, isn't there that one famous case of the dude who is, like, I guess who you would consider a 2, the guy who made that famous video of, like, living life as an ugly person, and then that one girl who would, I guess, according to this chart, I guess she kind of looked like the girl who's, like, 5, maybe around the 6 area, which is above average, ended up commenting that he looks cute. And this dude who you might rate as a 2 ended up with the girl who was a 6, between a 5 and a 6 plus, according to this chart. So how does that, like, make sense? Is it like exceptions don't disprove the rule type situation? Because at this point, we've not seen much evidence for the rule from any incel figure, but Let's see if this guy can break the mold.
I'll be using data throughout this presentation to produce the most accurate image possible. Now, showing this, you might have noticed it looks similar to some of the satire that exists across various Instagram or Facebook pages. And while this shows a rough idea of what we're dealing with, for example, it's supported by data that 80% of Tinder likes go to the top 20% of men, which highlights most women are chasing the same group of attractive, tall, in-shape guys.
Well, most women on Tinder, like the types of women that like a not so conventionally attractive guy that's got a lot more to offer insofar as a personality and like just interests that are super fun and cool. Like they're going to meet a girl that's accepting of them, that is willing to like be with them anywhere but on a dating website like Tinder, on a hookup site. Literally, the whole point of Tinder for most people, whether they admit it or not, is just to like find somebody that they can hook up with and never speak to again. Entirely based on who they think is hot for the sake of a one-night stand, or maybe just a friends with benefits occasional hookup type situation. Like, the whole point of especially Tinder, due to its reputation, and that's the one they always go to because it proves their point the best, is literally a place where people who find each other attractive try to meet up to fuck. All right? If you're an attractive girl out there on Tinder and you're trying to find what you think is an attractive dude to fuck, your options are vast. Okay? Your options are vast. And if you want, you can just go for the creme de la creme. It's there for you. If you're a 10 out of 10 girl on Tinder just looking for a guy to fuck, you have all the options in the world, I assure you. And so, yeah, that's the reality of hookup sites, of course. That's not the reality of the real world. Like, you're literally filtering for the types of people that look for partners in that way. That's why you get that data.
The main thing it fails to recognise is nowadays a lot of women have simply opted out of the dating market. As I've said before in previous videos, just because a woman is single doesn't mean she doesn't want to be single.
Same goes for plenty of men. Are you assuming that can't be the case for men? Because how do you know that the male loneliness epidemic in regards to so many Gen Z men not dating or being in relationships, how do you know it's not because they don't want to be in relationships? A lot of them, from what I hear, don't want to pay for dates. They don't want to risk the social burden of a breakup. They don't want to risk the emotional burden of a breakup. They've got other things to focus on. Living is harder to afford than ever in Trump's America. A lot of them are just like, fuck, man, I just want to be alive in 4 years. Dating's not even on my mind. I've heard so many Gen Z adults say this. Young men who are like 18 to like 24, 25. Always saying this. Like, there's plenty of men who are also that. Keep in mind, there are plenty of men who are quite attractive, in fact, and aren't in the dating pool.
It's a matter of fact, what's become very pervasive...
Keep in mind, by the way, you got to account for the fact there are men and women who are gay, and exclusively gay, not bisexual or pan. So then that takes plenty of people out of the dating pool as well. Also take into account that women are more than half of the population if you're accounting for cis women. I don't know if you account for trans people, does it level out? That would be really crazy, right? Like, if you account for the accurate percentage of trans people in society, trans men and trans women, if once you've, like, tallied it all up, at any given time there's an equal number of men and women, that would be fucking freaky. That, like, of course non-binary people would also exist, but if there were an equal number of men and women when you account for trans people, there'd be something to that, I think.
Across the Western world, especially in the 18 to 25 age demographic, which most of you watching this video will fall into, is if a woman is single, oftentimes it's just because she wants it to be that way. She's got university, travel, friends, life experiences to worry about, which frequently comes before putting effort into dating and finding the relationship she wants.
I like this implication that for guys, dating is like this so low effort thing, or is like such a like non-committal thing that like that would never be a guy's reason for being single.
Therefore, we'd anticipate many of these arrows to not even exist, and they are in essence removed from the dating pool. So, accounting for wider dating participation among men and less among women. This key distinction drastically changes the dynamic.
Wait, we're seeing record low dating participation among men, though. Like, if you wanted to make it accurate, you would take, like 40% the amount you took away from the women. Or I don't know what the exact breakdown is. I think women are participating in dating a bit less than men. I might be wrong about that, though. But it's not like 100% of men in the dating market right now, as would always be. And, like, let's say half the women. That's not the situation. Both men and women, especially in Gen Z, are dating less than ever.
And how the finished picture will look of who pairs up with who. Again, this is supported by statistics. When you look at dating app participation by gender, men vastly outnumber women on these platforms. Of the 5 biggest dating apps with the highest usage across the board,
Only based on dating apps. We're not even going off of all the data that's been, like, very publicly available and talked about. It's not even like a thing you gotta Google. Like, people have been talking about it. That men are dating less than ever and are in less relationships and losing their virginities later than ever. More of them are virgins than ever. Like, he's not even gonna account for that data. He exclusively wants to go off of dating app data, such as Zoosk, Match, OkCupid, Bumble, and Tinder, of course. Yeah, okay.
men consistently outnumber women anywhere from 2 to 1, sometimes near 3 to 1.
How do you even measure the dating markets? All he has to go off of are Tinder statistics and dating app statistics, as if that's, like, representative of broader culture and not specifically the types of men and women that he's fishing for to make his points. You've got armies of lonely men desperate to find any woman on one of these apps that'll give them the time of day, and a very small portion of women who are out there fishing through the weirdos and unattractive guys to find the hottest dude to have a one-night stand with. Like, you are literally filtering for an audience of exclusively the types of people that prove your point. It's like if you wanted to make a video about how, like, people being furries is getting to be more common, and furries are now everywhere, and it's getting to be a big issue, but then you exclusively filmed your video to prove that point, like the documentary, at a furry convention, it'd be like, okay, but, like, you went to where they are all at, you know? Like, are they... If you go 5 blocks away, are there furries everywhere? That's what I want to know. Is it really a problem? But no, you know, he's just going off of dating app data, which is the most curated you could possibly go off of, and not very reliable either. A lot of bots and fake accounts on these dating apps.
And if we assume that creating a dating profile is the smallest step one can make regarding putting themselves out there and on the market, it highlights there's on average a far greater willingness from men to meet and be open to relationships than women of the same age. Which is interesting because mainstream narratives will often say it's women who want relationships, whereas men don't really care and are just happy to do their own thing or sit at home playing video games.
Why are we trying to claim... Okay, so this one claim that monopolizes one gender, and claims they all think this way is actually wrong. It's this other overgeneralization and it's the exact opposite. No, it's obviously because men and women are both people, and every individual has their own preferences and their own journey, their own situation they're in at any given time in their life. They all have their own different reasons for why they're single. Some dudes are pretty good looking, but God, they have terrible hygiene, so they can't get a date. Sometimes they're super socially awkward, but good looking, can't get a date. Sometimes they're super funny, not good looking, but their personality gets them really impressive dates. You just can't generalize. You know, individuals, like, you won't believe the riz I have seen come from dudes that are not that conventionally attractive, and you would not believe the amount of attractive women I've seen that riz work on, okay? There are plenty of exceptions you will meet in your life to this incel concept of what makes what the dating market is, right? And you'll always meet those people and see their success in the real world, not on social media, in the real world. It'll be people you actually know, relationships you actually get to see happen.
However, when you look at dating apps, even for those like Bumble, which prides itself as a relationship-oriented platform, facilitating those looking for life partners, not short-term fun. Even here, the ratio is heavily skewed in women's favour, with
None
nearly
of these apps attract the types of people looking for long-term partners. They just don't. They literally just don't. They have too bad of a reputation. Like, the people who use these platforms are always they have a lot of the people who are real gooners have every dating app on their phone. Like, maybe not Grindr unless they're bisexual, I guess, but like they'll have all 5 of these on their phone, and every day they will max out everything they can do on that app to try and get more matches, and they'll be bouncing between messaging as many girls as possible to try to line up a date. That's what the gigagooners do, okay? Like, believe me, the gigagooners, the like vain people out there just looking for a quick fuck with a hot girl or guy, they're using all these apps. Not just one of them.
3 times as many men as there are women. So, what this means, getting back to the model hierarchy, we can change the colour of a significant portion of the female dating pool and assign them a label of wanting to stay single. This means they are non-participants and are ousted from the dataset. And as discussed, this is almost an exclusive desire among women. Nearly all men want to put themselves out there, they're trying to talk to girls,
Where are you getting that
they're
data
on the
from?
apps, but often getting no interest back. Assuming an even distribution up and down the scale with about 40% of the...
He claims, he's literally pulled the claim that almost all men want a relationship out of his ass based on the premise that the majority of dating app users are men. This is some big brain stuff here, guys.
Women abstaining, it leaves us with an effective dating ratio of nearly 2 men competing for every woman, which is similar to what we had with the previous statistics from dating app ratios. Furthermore, other evidence supports this idea of young women abstaining from dating when looking at the trends seen in Western developed nations. Did you know the more affluent a nation becomes, the lower marriage rates and delayed marriages are? This is
Yeah, actually, because people, when they have more resources, have better educations, and with better educations, they tend to be able to plan better and understand the consequences of their actions better, even at a young, naive age, compared to those that have a worse education. So famously in America, those with worse education and lower income actually have more kids than those with higher education and higher income. Believe it or not, that's the case in America as well, not just on a nation by nation scale. As it turns out, having kids is not something that many people want to do. And when you have money and like you're smart and you're good at planning, and you have the money and access to contraceptives and abortions. I mean, it's literally the plot of Idiocracy. In the opening scene of Idiocracy, the scene where the smart couple is like repeatedly saying, it's irresponsible to have a kid now. We really need to be working and saving money right now. And as the decades go by, they keep deciding not to have kids because like it genuinely isn't a smart thing to do. But all the dumbest people are having like 50 fucking kids. All the trailer trash type people are having like 50 kids, and then their kids are having 50 kids. But all the smart, like high educated, wealthy city liberals are not having kids. They're not like passing their young on to further generations. And even culturally, they're losing their impact. So it's like the MAGA dumb fuck retards have taken over the culture. They've taken over the airwaves. They've taken over the system. Kind of like what's happening now, because we're literally living in Idiocracy. It's like that, right? God. This shit's so fucking silly, dude. Well, hey, did you know, if we want to talk about statistics, did you know that only 20%, on a good day, only 20% of you guys like my videos? Way fewer than 20%, way fewer than 10% comment. But likes and comments are the way to boost a channel in the YouTube algorithm. So if you want to support me and you're liking this video, consider dropping a like and a comment down below real fast. It really means a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who does that. It means a lot.
clear when comparing the average age of marriage and years of schooling in European countries. There is this obvious difference where in Western and Northern European nations, as young women are expected to get higher education, bachelor's or master's degrees, the average age of marriage is higher. well into their 30s most of the time. Whereas in Eastern European countries, as it's common for people to get a job as soon as they finish secondary school, they typically get married in their mid to late 20s, which often means they'd have started these relationships in their early 20s. And it's all because
And I'm sure they're so happy.
the rates of female education and career opportunities are higher in the West, which often comes at the expense of a woman's desire for marriage and relationships. Furthermore, even with individual countries such as the US, there is a clear trend where the higher educational attainment, the more marriage gets delayed. And what's interesting is the gap between each curve lines up almost perfectly with when their respective course finishes. People usually finish high school at 18, which is where marriage for this group starts booming. 4 years later, as people finish bachelor's degrees,
It's not at 18, it's a few years later. It's around their early 20s is when they start getting married.
where marriage for this group starts booming. And a few years later, for those who finish advanced degrees or PhDs, surprise surprise, it's where marriage for this group starts booming. So basically, we can make a logical assumption that when a woman is in education, the chance she is looking for a serious relationship or marriage is lower, way lower. She just wants to stay single. Which, bringing back to the chart, when we focus on the 18 to 25 age group, it is accurate to show there's this large portion of the female dating pool who are ousted from the dataset. Next, what this means for the remaining...
I'm guessing the conclusion here is that the problem is that women are pursuing jobs and educations. So that's why men are lonely now. We got to read the comments. Let's read the comments, guys. It's always gold in Wheat Waffles comments. Finally, PowerPoint maxing again. Are we back to classic Wheat Waffles? This was the right move, bro. Never let those external circumstances affect your work of providing the value you did. Your video presentation really opened a lot of our eyes on how important it is to looks max. So gay. Just one last Pringle. Ah, Wheat Waffles. Bro is more predictable than Becky's rejecting me, lol. Oh, Becky's. Oh my god, that is such an OG incel phrase. Oh my god. Who remembers when, like, the incels would call certain women, like, a Becky was a certain archetype. Like, you had your Chads, your Stacys, your Beckys. I haven't heard Becky in forever. Holy shit. That guy? Oh my, he's got the lol rage comic face as his profile picture. This lol man guy is easily in his 30s or 40s at the youngest. If a woman is single, it's because Chad rejected her. This is one of the saddest returns I've ever seen in my entire career. This is not a comeback, it's an admission of defeat. YouTube won. It's not over. He is back. Britain is saved. The final video on Wheat Waffles for real this time, lol. This is my last video for real, quote-unquote. Bro quit 2 months ago. When the world needed him most, he returned. The king is back, a high IQ individual who understands the black pill philosophy without making it too cringy with all the uncanny PSL enthusiasm. Well, there you go, guys. His fans are celebrating his return. The king of the incels has come back to teach them and open their eyes to the value of looks maxing, as that one commenter said. Listen, it's easy to make fun of these people and prey on their downfall, but honestly, at this point, you know these folks are quite sad. They don't do a very good job at hiding it, so at this point, I hope they're able to get some kind of joy out of coming together and enjoying Wheat Waffles' little incel math videos. He's not doing too much harm. It's just kind of a fun little thing to point and laugh at every once in a while, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, consider leaving a like and a comment down below like I said before. Let's try to up that percentage higher than 10% or 20%. If we can get to 30, ho boy, you're gonna see some real crazy shit. And of course, consider commenting as well. That is the best form of engagement, but if you can like and comment both, there's nothing better than that. And consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon to turn on all notifications if you haven't already, so that YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, then follow my social medias linked down below, particularly my fan Discord, as that is the main hub of my fan base and my community. In fact, I host weekly gaming events, call-in streams, watch parties, or movie nights there every Friday. So if you don't want to miss anything, you want to have a good time, you won't regret it, join my Discord server. It's right down there in the description. And finally, if you want to support me directly, financially, help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio, then please consider donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website to somebody else if you're feeling so kind, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buy some custom Xander Hall merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Regardless of how you support me though, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a good one.